On Storyboard today, LinkedIn targets $1 billion in ad sales revenue by 2017. Newspapers argue whether Google is a friend or a foe. Controversial campaign urges Parsis to procreate. And Imami's He celebrates Men's Day. Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Pavni Mittal. Professional networking site LinkedIn has beefed up its ad sales offerings over the last few months. It reshaped its marketing solutions unit, increased focus on content marketing, and acquired B2B marketing platform Bizzo for $175 million this July. Last quarter, the site earned $109 million in ad sales revenue and has ambitions to touch the $1 billion mark by 2017. I caught up with LinkedIn's Penry Price to understand how he plans to achieve that target and on the road ahead for India, its second largest market. Here's that exclusive conversation. If I look at LinkedIn, say 2 to 3 years ago, when I look at LinkedIn now, there seems to be a lot of changes for members. I'm not even talking about advertisers yet. So how would you then define LinkedIn today?
Yeah, I think the core proposition, the value proposition still stays the same, which is around identity. It's really the first place and the only place around the world that people recognize that your professional identity is really represented digitally on LinkedIn. The second proposition is around networks, which once you have identity, you're actually looking for other people to connect with and build your own professional network. And the last proposition, which is where a lot of the change has come, is around knowledge. When you've got networks, to feed networks, you need to sort of start sharing information and attracting people to sort of connect with each other, to learn and to sort of help each other sort of grow.
Also, it's changed you've made a lot of changes to your advertising business unit over the last 1 year. That's when you also came into LinkedIn. So could you take me through that?
Yeah, there's a natural transition for, I think, general marketing. I think if you look broader than just LinkedIn, two things have transformed the industry. One is connectivity, so just the nature of being connected globally is the first one. The second one is the mobile device. The mobile device now represents, for LinkedIn anyway, closing in on 47% of our traffic globally. That's also happening in certain markets well beyond 50%. So when you look at that and you're trying to build an advertising business, you have to build something that will be friendly from a mobile perspective. So we had, for years past, really focused on display advertising.
Yeah.
And over this transition, as you say, for the last year, we focused much more on native advertising and really content marketing, especially focused on the mobile device.
And content is like the new hot feature from LinkedIn, but I want to understand, do you provide marketers tools to measure the effectiveness of content marketing that they can do on LinkedIn? You know, why they should choose to do that on LinkedIn versus, say, a Facebook or a Twitter?
Yeah, I think one, from a network perspective, I think context is important. So I think people that work with us, brands that are working with us, and agencies that work with them are looking at us because we have professionals. We're focused on professionals, and the network is there to really think about, and they're there because the context is around a professional mindset. So incredibly important and different from the others. I would say from a content marketing standpoint, you're right. It's a big trend. The question is it sort of a fad, or has it become a real sort of common tactic for brands? I say it's going to be a common tactic. It will be a big part of the industry, bigger part going forward. The challenge is around measurement. Yeah. So what we've developed is something called a content marketing score, where we can actually go to each brand and show them how their content is engaged with on LinkedIn, with their audiences they're trying to reach, and the type of audiences that are interacting, and the type of interactions we get for that content. And we can actually score that against their peer group of companies. So they can start to understand how they are working with, or how their content is working with the members on LinkedIn versus how their competitors are.
You've strengthened your B2B offering with the acquisition of Bizzo. I think it was $175 million that you spent on that. So firstly, how has that worked out for you? And secondly, what are you doing for B2C?
So Bizzo, yeah, we acquired Bizzo back in, I think, July or August of this year. Incredibly exciting for us. We saw a natural fit culturally with the company and the people that were there, and plus the technology they built over about 6 years. We see that accelerating our vision over the next 4 years of becoming an incredibly powerful platform for marketers who are trying to engage with professionals. So it's a big bet on B2B, as you say. I would say above that, and including B2C in this, is really important to understand that B2B marketers and higher consideration B2C, so automotive, travel, finance, retail, etc., they actually are very similar. Really what they're trying to do is walk a potential customer through the journey of a funnel, right, a sort of purchase funnel, and convert at the other end of it. They're all trying to generate leads. right? These higher considerations. So if travel, they're trying to get somebody to buy a trip. And it takes a little bit of time. You're not going to convert right away. So this technology that Bizzo gives us is enabling us to work really closely with B2B marketers. That is a natural for us because of the professionals on the platform. And also higher consideration B2C, where there's a little bit of a longer sales cycle.
You know, the biggest advantage that you have over your competitors, and I list them as Facebook and Twitter, is that, you don't have fake profiles on LinkedIn. I mean, that would be really difficult to get. Secondly, I think, the quality of audience, the kind of data that you have is so much more specific, but they have the advantage of, having more users and time spent. What are you doing at the user front then?
We don't compare ourselves to anyone else. I think, we're different. We're focused on professionals, squarely on professionals. So I think, again, as I was saying, context.
But for the marketer, it's a spend on digital. So I'm not sure, that may be for you, but for them, they tend to compare.
Yeah, I think everyone tends to compare. I think marketers and especially agencies are looking across everything they do to try to figure out what's most important or most impactful. So what we try to do is make sure they understand the differences. This is not an either or. This is a fact that we have a professional audience that is really interested in businesses and what businesses offer. So the context is important. I think the notion of what we're trying to do to build engagement is around this move around knowledge that I was saying about a lead value proposition. Is how do we help the sort of members sort of achieve more in their sort of professional lives. They're strivers. People that are on LinkedIn are looking to do better. They're looking to accomplish more. So how do we offer more reasons for them to engage with us on a more consistent basis? Much more content. So this notion of moving from more of a jobs destination and really thinking about my professional network only to now about how do you help me with my current job and how do businesses help me in my current job. That's a big important shift for us.
Okay, and $109 million is what your ad revenue stands for, Q3, and that is around 19% of your overall revenue. But I believe by 2017, your aim is to hit the $1 billion mark. That's a 10-fold increase. How do you plan to do that? It's we're almost at the end of 2014.
We've got a 4-year plan that we think could help us move just in a new trajectory about the business and offer so much more for brands. Bizzo, we thought, in that piece of what we want to build as a business would accelerate about 2.5 years of our own to build that type of capability. Accelerates 2.5 years there. So I hope we find other things. We're definitely looking for other sort of partners to work with, other M&A activity to sort of complement what we do and can accelerate again the vision. But we have a big bet here.
India is the second largest market in terms of number of users, but your penetration, if I compare it to the number of overall internet users, is not much. It's around 2%.
Yeah, so we're incredibly excited about what we've been able to do and accomplish in India. As you said, 28 million and growing very quickly. I've been here last few days talking to brands and agencies and marketers that are B2B and B2C and everyone in between. I think I was very struck by the interest in what LinkedIn can do for them. I think there's still a lot of sort of perception about it being more of a jobs sort of site. They're now starting to see the content being important. They're all talking about content marketing as an asset that they want to deploy with LinkedIn. I think agencies are looking at how do they work more productively with LinkedIn. They look at it as a unique platform, and they're seeing the membership as being an important audience for them. But it's early days. They're still trying to figure out how to do that. So we expect it to grow, really well over the next few years.
Expect some more acquisitions from LinkedIn in the near future. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, newspapers argue if Google is a friend or a foe.